It's now time for our final presentation for the day, actually. And we're going to continue around the augmented reality theme, but really putting augmented reality into real life. So, Menashe, the stage is yours. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Menashe Haskin. I got the coveted slot before lunch, so I'll try to make it as lively as possible. Recent events in the US, in Florida and Houston, really underscore the need for an effective, cost-efficient tool for surveying, and drones fit this niche immediately. But if we look at a video, why doesn't it play? Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, if we look at the video generated by a drone, you can see that it is very hard to understand what's going on. The pilot is far away. The field of view is very limited. We don't have any landmarks. The street signs may be underground. So making sense out of this video is, what happens here? Excuse me. Making sense of what's happening here is very complicated. But if we take AR, we could apply street maps on top of the video. We could identify and highlight specific distress signals, so we make the video much more easier to understand. Same goes to if we have fire, we could highlight power lines, make sure that the drones does not crash into them. We could highlight personnel and equipment and really help the people managing the scene figure out what is going on and be much more effective when handling a crisis. So basically, this is exactly what Edgybees does. If we look at a drone today, drones are very complicated machines. They have made tremendous progress over the last 3 years, but they are still flying robots. And as a flying robot, a drone doesn't really understand where it is, so it gives us plurality of information in order to figure out what's going on. So if we look at the drone, we have GPS, we may have accelerometers or speed measurement, we may have altitude measurements, barometers, cameras. What's common to all these sensors is that since it's a physical machine, it lives in the real world, none of them is accurate, none of them is reliable. So GPS could come and go, altitude measure could go away. None of the sensors agree with any of the others. And if I'm now a developer of an application that is looking to make sense of all this, I really need to be a robotics engineer in order to put this into use. Well, most of us are not robotic engineers. So there is an operating system level that is missing. You'll excuse me, that is missing in between the application and the device, which is what we have developed and what we are now putting into use. We actually didn't develop this to go into the search and rescue applications. We developed this OS in order to develop games because drones are neat and drones are cool, and we wanted to do fun stuff with them. And we put a game in the market some 4 months ago. Immediately afterwards, we started getting inbounds from people in the industry, in different industries, saying, "Guys, this is very cool, but let's do something useful with it." So we've developed this first response application, and immediately afterwards, we had, unfortunately, the option to put it into use, and it is actually being used as we speak in Florida and in Houston. Other applications are also possible, and if we look at various, the search and rescue market today in the US, you have 20-something thousand fire departments, you have 18,000 police departments. Only a small fraction of these, like less than 1%, have aerial support in the form of helicopters, because helicopters are expensive. They take very experienced personnel to operate. Well, guess what? Drones are much cheaper. A drone costs about 2% of what it costs to own a helicopter, and all these people are now looking to go into drones. So for this slide, I want you to look less at the figures and more at the various markets that drone can go into. We're already in public safety, but it can also go into consumer. It goes into industrial applications, go into real estate, could go anywhere. And many applications and many markets are now looking to apply drones to their use cases. And the OS is exactly what they need in order to do that. So just to sum up, we started with games that are now turned into a training application for other use cases. But drones are really opening up to just any application you could think of. Thank you.
Menashe, thank you very much for a fascinating presentation. I think one thing that is in the brochure that you obviously didn't say here is that you previously developed Prime Air for Amazon, and before that, the Fire Stick. So anyone that uses Amazon Fire, this is the man that you have to thank, amongst many other things. So thank you very, very much. This really is the concluding talk of this morning, and thank you very, very much for all coming today. What we've tried to show you and really give you a flavor of is some of the most exciting businesses we have found coming out of Israel. In the last year, we've led 3 trips to Israel of investors from the UK, and some of you are here, I can see, and it's very nice to have you back with us to see what's going on again. And on those 3 trips, I think we've seen well north of 100 different companies. So we've managed to bring just 17 of the best to London today.